Good morrow, my sweet strangers. Welcome to my crafty-handed DIY channel. Do you still have some apples left over from the autumn harvest? I do, and I love to use some for my delicious winter sponge pie. So let's bake one. First, let's prepare 4 or 5 apples. Cut them in quarters, remove the core, and peel the skin, which is usually a bit tough and not so pretty after a few months in the cellar. The apples might turn brown after a while, but it's not a flaw. For the pie crust, we will need 8.8 ounces or 250 grams of all-purpose flour. And it's always a good idea to sift your dry ingredients to get rid of any lumps. We will also need 2.8 ounces or 80 grams of powdered confectioners sugar, also sifted. Then we will need 5.3 ounces, which is about 10.5 tablespoons or 150 grams of softened unsalted butter. Add 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 1 egg yolk. It's a good time to turn on your oven and preheat it to 355 Fahrenheit or 180 Celsius after you start the blender. Now blend on low speed for about 5 minutes until the dough starts to form. In the meantime, line your baking sheet with baking paper, which is not really necessary, but I like it better that way. Of course, feel free to use your round pie form if you prefer. And when the dough starts to form, switch to the dough attachment. Continue blending for another 3 minutes or so until the dough ball forms. Place the dough on your baking sheet or form and evenly spread it around. You can also roll out a flat sheet on a wooden board and transfer it to your pan later. It's time for the apples. Hopefully they are not too brown. Shred them on top of the crust and spread them evenly. Sprinkle with cinnamon as much as you like, and vanilla flavored or plain sugar. You could also add some raisins if you like them. Place in the preheated oven and bake for about 15 minutes until the apples start turning golden. Now let's go straight into the sponge batter making. Separate 3 more eggs and use the 3 egg whites plus the one we saved from the pie crust and whip them stiff. When the egg whites form stiff peaks, add about 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar. Then slowly and gradually stir in the egg yolks and 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. When the time is up, remove the baked pie crust with apples from the oven and immediately pour our sponge batter over it and spread it evenly. Try working as fast as you can so the sponge batter doesn't dissolve. I left this in real-time speed just for the reference. Return back in the oven and turn the heat down to 300 Fahrenheit or 150 Celsius. Bake for about 20 minutes until the sponge cake turns to gold and is stiff to the touch. The sponge cake will eventually soften from the steaming apples, but it's okay. You can cool the sponge pie down before serving, but I like it hot. It's the best winter treat. When the weather outside is gloomy and cold, just make yourself a cup of hot tea, coffee or cocoa, curl up under the blanket, and have yourself some warm, tender and soft apple sponge pie. Enjoy!